Conservatives don't care people are born LGBTQ+. Nobody chooses to be gay or trans. Pierre Poilievre knows this. He's already demonstrated this in a tweet that he used to help show that he supports LGBTQ+ rights when he literally doesn't. He doesn't show up at Pride. He just comes up with excuses. So many Republican states in the United States have literally passed authoritarian anti-trans laws that are literally unconstitutional. And following authoritarian Republican states in the United States, conservatives in Canada are literally adopting failed fascist anti-trans ideology. This isn't even funny. Don't people care about human rights? Pierre Poilievre has been misleading Canadians. He's been lying to people. I know firsthand because his messaging is way different than 2 years ago before he was leader of the Conservative Party of Canada. So his messaging has completely changed. He's gone from condemning and speaking against other conservatives who spread anti-LGBTQ+ hate and misinformation to literally being a part of it. Just in the span of not even a year, he's gone, you can see his narrative just changed. So yeah, he's lying to people. He doesn't care. So conservatives are trying to rebrand their anti-trans hate as calling it just parents' rights. But here's the thing. Kids aren't property of parents. Parents are supposed to raise their children as individuals to succeed in life. And you have a lot of abusive parents. So what this comes down to is abusive parents just want to legally be able to abuse their kids if they're LGBTQ+. That's pathetic. Parents are supposed to be raising their kids. If parents abuse their non-trans kids, that's abuse. The parents can get their kids taken away from them. So as I think a joke, abusive parents literally just want to be able to legally abuse their kids and make sure that LGBTQ+ students don't have acceptance in schools anymore, which increases bullying. The whole idea of teaching information and including sex ed is so kids are informed. So kids don't, Saskatchewan just passed an anti-trans law, and they have they're one of the worst provinces for underage pregnancies and stuff like STIs and stuff like that. Kids need to know stuff about sex education. It's learning, it's science. There's a bunch of religious fascists in Canada who literally want to get rid of science in the public schools. And by science, I mean LGBTQ+ information. There's a bunch of abusive conservative parents mainly that are opposing having any LGBTQ+ information, any rainbow in any school. And if you think this is just about the kids, it's not. They're targeting all ages. This is proven in the United States. The only reason why the anti-trans is literally getting more popular in Canada is because of foreign influence. Not just from America, but you have authoritarian dictatorships like Russia, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, or however you pronounce it, those dictatorships where conservatives condemning all the hate against LGBTQ+ people in Canada. They're not barely saying anything. They literally don't care. They're not trying to upset their far-right followers. So there's literally a bunch of religious people, religious fascists, that oppose science. It's kind of like when the church used to oppose science, how the earth was not the center of the universe. And you have fascists that don't like how schools are teaching LGBTQ+ information, so kids who are LGBTQ+ can feel more accepted in society and be themselves instead of suppressing their own happiness. These fascists just want kids to grow up in a toxic environment where LGBTQ+ students are not treated with respect, bullied, and not treated fair in society. You already see this. Look at all the pride flags that have been burned. Practically every day during Pride Month, there was a pride flag either burned, destroyed, or defaced. You had Muslim parents literally encouraging their Muslim kids to stomp on pride flags. And where are conservatives condemning that? They're not. They don't care. So yeah, conservatives will say, oh, but parents' rights. Yeah, parents are supposed to raise their kids, not abuse them. Kids should be able to feel accepted in society, and you have a lot of abusive parents, mainly conservatives, who don't want kids to grow up in a healthy environment. They literally support the fossil fuel industry and all the poison industries, poisoning kids. They don't care about the kids. They oppose hemp. So I'm 37 years old. I grew up when information about transgender was not in school. I had no idea I was suffering with gender dysphoria. People used to make fun of me in high school for not having an Adam's apple. So yeah, don't forget, while conservatives might say it's about parents' rights, it's not. It's all about abusive parents wanting to legally be able to abuse their kids to if they're gay or trans or whatever, they just want to legally be able to suppress their child's own happiness. That's what's going on. These abusive parents are trying to raise their kids to be happy in life and succeed. They're being abusive, trying to control them. Instead of letting them succeed in life and make them happy. They're not trying to make sure their kids are happy. These religious fascists act like the information is brainwashing kids, which is not true. I mean, the information isn't making it. Nobody chooses to be gay or trans. Pierre Poilievre has demonstrated he knows people are born LGBTQ+. He knows this. Pierre Poilievre has literally been dog whistling to far-right fascists. I mean, right now Pierre Poilievre is acting like liberals are the only source of the housing crisis. I've been warning about the housing crisis and my inability to find an apartment to live in. I'm lucky I found this place in 2017. But I've been warning about the housing crisis before Trudeau was elected. Before Trudeau was elected, there was already a housing crisis. It's just got so bad, even people making good money is struggling now, so nobody can ignore it. But people were ignoring it for years. Where conservatives been supporting the truth, they don't give a shit. There's literally genocidal maniacs calling to eradicate transgenderism from the public life entirely. And that's got support in Canada too. These fascists are trying to erode democracy. Eroding LGBTQ+ rights, eroding trans rights is eroding democracy. Conservatives don't care about the Constitution. They're willing to violate it to pass anti-trans laws. So while Pierre Poilievre hasn't officially announced he's anti-trans yet, the sheer number of conservatives in Canada and their followers that have been making hateful, transphobic comments against me, being 37 years old, proves to me conservatives are anti-trans. If they weren't, why is their whole fan base, not all of it, but a large amount of their base are anti-trans? They're literally Trump supporters. Trump is literally a criminal. He tried to overthrow the 2020 election and still denies he lost. He can't even show any proof the election was rigged or anything, but he keeps repeating lies. So we have to make things plain and simple. Democracy is at risk. The whole anti-trans movement is a threat to democracy itself. The whole foundation of democracy. Conservatives don't care about the pursuit of happiness. Conservatives don't care about freedom. They just care about control. They don't care about if hemp can compete with fossil fuels. They're opposed to hemp having a fair chance to compete. Hemp is so overregulated. You don't see Pierre Poilievre wanting to cut the government red tape on that. He's willing to literally lift up the fossil fuel industry. Trans care saves lives. Having LGBTQ plus support in the communities and schools saves lives. You literally have conservatives that don't want LGBTQ plus people to grow up in a safe environment. They just want us to grow up with bullying being normalized again,